Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters trailer breakdown for episode 14, season 6. And the title of this episode is Something New. The synopsis is Andi, Sabrina, and Danny have dream dates that seem almost too good to be true. Fatima and Zach make a quick decision for the safety of Michael. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell somebody to tell somebody if you choose to. But if not, just sit back, relax, and we're going to get right into this messy thing. Now, we see Fatima and Zach, and they are in the car after Zach has proceeded to beat the brakes off an old dude at Heather's apartment. I'm going to go ahead and put out there that I believe that Michael may be in the back seat because there is a picture floating around, which I put on my community page, of the messiness of it all, of Karen being at the grocery store, and she runs into Zach, who's holding a sleeping Michael, it appears, and Fatima is next to him. I said, really, Tyler? I just hope, that these three don't act the fool with this baby in this grocery store, but that's neither here nor there. And as they're driving, Fatima tells Zach that she has never seen anything like that and that she's sorry. And Zach tells her that, that was his life. And I'm not sure what Fatima was referring to, even though I am highly interested. So I'm not sure if she's referring to the type of condition that she saw Michael in, because I know she's not referring to seeing Zach put his hands on somebody, because she's seen that before. A prime example, when Zach and Aaron got into it at the steam plant. And I know she wasn't referring to Heather's living conditions, because this is the second time that she's been in Heather's spot. So I'm really not sure what she was making a point to. But like I said, I'm definitely interested in finding out what that was about. And so Zach tells her that was his life. Then she says, it just makes me understand you more. I said, Fatima, sis, you understand Zach quite well. You understand Zach quite well. And I'm going to go on a little rant here, but I promise it's going to be some gems in it. All right, just go with me. So I got some people upset because I got some emails on top of DMs, especially after people listened to my review of episode 13. And I made a point that I believe that Fatima has lost herself in this relationship completely. Not half of herself, not a fourth. She has lost herself completely in this relationship because everything is about Zach. And so when I was watching the preview for episode 14, when Fatima made the statement, it just makes me understand you more, it still pointed to the fact that, where are you, ma'am, in this relationship? Where is your imprint? Where are you? Does Zach understand you more? Is he trying to understand you more? And the way that Tyler has decided to write the dynamic of Zach and Fatima, it's almost as if his trauma is the only trauma that matters. His childhood issues are the only childhood issues that matter. Him getting help is the only thing that matters. Now, Fatima has stated that she went to therapy in her early 20s. And I'm like, sis, you need to go back. I ain't trying to be funny, but sis, you need to go back. And I'm not going to get too much into that, because there was one email that I really want to share with everybody, because I am going to do a video on it. So I'm not going to go too far into the therapy thing. But I believe Fatima definitely needs to go back into therapy and just find out where she has lost herself and the reason that she's going so hard for Zach. It is nothing wrong with having your man back, showing up for him, being there for him. But there is something if it causes you to lose your identity in the process. And I believe that's what we are witnessing. There are some people who may agree with me, and there are some people who may not agree with me, which is fine. But I think the accuracy of what Tyler has written, it is clear. And again, like I said in my review for episode 13, Fatima is no longer in school. She uprooted herself from her apartment or condo that she owns to move in with Zach, who purchased this off stolen money or money that it ain't on the up and up. I just don't know if I could have done that. He traded your car to get you your dream car. I appreciate it, but you ain't even talk to me about it. So I thank you for the surprise, but if something happens, what's going to happen to my car, bruh? That would have been my concern. But again, like I said, like I've said it before, a lot of people think I don't like Fatima, and that's not the case. The case is that I feel as though because of the optics of Zach and Fatima, there's a lot of things that just get overlooked. And speaking of overlooking, the same thing that Fatima does. There are certain things that goes on in her relationship with Zach that gets overlooked because I'm trying to understand you more. So you can call me out my name. You can call my homegirl out her name. You can call my mother out her name. Yes, Zach called Fatima's mom a bitch as well. I didn't have time to pull the footage, but it's on Fatima. And it's that episode where Fatima's mom comes over the first time to the house, and as she's walking out, Zach calls Fatima and her mama two bougie itches, okay? Because people love to believe what Zach didn't say, but go back and watch it yourself. So we get to Andi and Jordan, and I just think they're giving very much low vibrational energy because I'm just not here for it. But as I continue to play back this scene, I was like, you know what? I think it's the contrast of wardrobe for me, because Andi looks like she's going to prom. As if she was invited to prom. She knew what she was doing, even though I'm not a big fan of this dress and these wings she got. Looking like she about to flip, flap, and fly at any given moment, okay? But she looked like she going somewhere. Jordan looks like he wasn't invited to the prom. Jordan had no intention of going to prom. Jordan didn't ask nobody to go to prom. And Jordan wasn't asked to attend prom by the way he's dressing. And I said, it's the contrast for me. It's giving me a slight headache. And so he tells her, every flame that you light quickly will die quickly. And I'm so curious as to what they were talking about before this that led him to say what he said. Because I'm like, are you trying to have a deep conversation with Andi? Jordan, she's not that chick. If you're not talking about sex, if you're not talking about mansions, if you're not talking about cars, if you're not talking about jewelry, traveling, trips and dips, Andi ain't interested, bro. So I am so curious because I don't know. It was just giving like Andi's in law school and he's in high school. That's the energy I was given just based on how they were dressed. And I normally don't even talk about the wardrobe, but it was such a contrast that I'm just like, something ain't right about this scene. This is not even supposed to be happening. But we'll see, y'all, what happened with that situation. And so we see Hayden and Gary, and Hayden makes the point to tell Gary that both of them are pathetic. And I said, you know what, Hayden? I am so glad that you can acknowledge the truth. And not only that, you can also verbally express the truth as well. Gary is sitting there like a bump on a log, and Hayden proceeds to show him Andi's matches on this dating app. So I'm going to assume that Hayden is on the dating app as well. And Gary tried to make it seem like he wasn't the least bit interested in the man who came up as a match for Andi because Andi loves him. And that was pretty much the end of that particular trailer, which did not leave much to the imagination because honestly, we don't really care about Hayden. We don't really care about Gary. And the fact that we only got those 3 scenes for the trailer preview for episode 14, it said a lot. We didn't see Sabrina or Danny. We didn't see Karen. We didn't see anything that, for me, that was really interesting. But we did see this. And like I said, the whole thing going back to Fatima and Zach, I understand in relationships that, you know, and I mostly see it for women, not that men don't experience this as well, because they do. A lot of times when we get in relationships with men who has childhood trauma, we tend to justify or make excuses for their immature actions and their outburst or their inability or refusal to operate in emotional intelligence. And I feel that women are expected to demonstrate patience, compassion, grace, and in the midst of that, somewhere you kind of lose yourself. And sometimes, if the shoe is on the other foot, the man is not willing to extend the same courtesy that the woman was. Because in this instance, Zach has stated twice already to Fatima that if things were flipped, he wouldn't be able to extend that same grace to her. And I thought about that and I was like, wow, that was a red flag for me, because I'm thinking this is a woman who really been riding or dying for you, dying to self, dying of self, her wants, her needs, her desires, because she's choosing you at every which way, every fork in the road. She continued to choose you, and you're telling her that if it was reversed, baby girl, I wouldn't do the same thing. And I'm just like, wow. That is such an interesting concept, but yet it happens. Now, let me say, I do believe that when you're in a relationship, those qualities you should be representing. It should be presented in your relationship. However, it should be mutual beneficial. It shouldn't be one-sided at all. And I think that with Fatima and Zach, one of the biggest issues that I have is this contrast of Tyler writing them like they're going to be together, they're going to have a relationship, they're going to be engaged, in the midst of Zach coming to terms of dealing with his trauma. We have 4 women, and I will say this because as a viewer, I feel like I was hoodwinked and bamboozled, because this show was presented under the guise of that it is about women. It is about 4 black women living in Atlanta who's dealing with the ups and downs of friendships, romantic relationships, and their professional careers. But in actuality, this show is about Zach. As I've stated several times, it should be called Zach and Them, because the 4 women, or 5 including Fatima, they all have trauma. They all have experienced traumatic situations and they never get dealt with. Zach goes to therapy while the women gets new penis pushed upon them. I'm like, that's not an accurate balance, Tyler. What the hell? But that's just how I feel. That's how I feel. You guys can tell me how you feel. And that's kind of like the precursor to the video that I'm going to talk about from the person who emailed me their, what's what I want to use? Their dislike for me showing compassion towards Zach and his childhood trauma and everything like that. But I'm going to leave it at that. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the breakdown for episode 14 entitled Something New. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you to all the new subscribers, the people who are listening, the people who are sharing, commenting, for everyone who tunes in to our Sisters Keeper on Erica Vane's channel that comes on right after Sisters go off at 10:30. We do a live every Wednesday talking about the episode and trying to get a little bit more deeper than what we're actually watching, because honestly, it probably would take literally 15 minutes to talk about this 42-minute show. But again, I thank you and I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, y'all be safe out there, and I will holler at you later.